name's Jen, and I love camping, canoeing, hiking, all kinds of outdoor adventures. I've been doing it my whole life. I invite you to join me. Subscribe to my channel, follow along, see what fun we're going to have next, because you know what? There are so many adventures still to come. Oh, there's a little bit of mist still coming up off the lake this morning. So nice and warm out on the sunny point. Well, good morning. It's day 3. Today is a rest day. We're not doing any traveling today. We decided to do that so that we could just explore this lake and relax and explore the woods. All things you can sometimes take for granted when you're on a trip where you're rush, go, go, go. And one of the reasons we picked this trip was because it was highly recommended for the beauty of the lakes and the water and the fishing, so we wanted to take our time. It is a very frigid morning though. Oh my goodness. So I got all my nighttime, not my sleepwear, but my evening wear on here, my lined pants and my toque and my hoodie. But out in the sun, it's amazing. It's like 10 degrees warmer. It's going to be a gorgeous day today too. Okay, got a fire going. So my camera battery died mid-sentence there. I fluffed up the birch bark with my knife a little bit more, and I did get it going with the ferro rod. And now we've just got some water on for coffee, and we're going to have some breakfast later, and it's just going to be a nice, relaxing, quiet morning. Just eating the grasses. Let's see if there's any ducks on the other side of the point here. No ducks this morning. They were there last night though. No, you're not climbing up there. Don't even think about it. Checking out the vegetation, and we've got some, forget exactly what it's called. I'll have to look it up when I'm at home, but it's basically like a wild sage. These leaves have a leathery, powdery feeling to them, and they smell like sage, like you'd use to cook your turkey. Now we've got this bush here with these crazy berries with the red stems. I'm going to look them up when I get home too. Let you know, they're beautiful, and there's so many of them here. Look at them all. I haven't noticed any birds eating them, but yeah, lots of diversity along this shoreline. Look at the size of this mushroom. So it's attached to this tree that's fallen over. Shoxy's just taking me on a little tour of the woods. A little mini adventure. We've got some wintergreen deep in the woods here. And then this looks like fir type leaves, but then it's got these beautiful red berries. I'm going to have to look that up at home too. Gorgeous back in here. Look at this hemlock tree. It's huge. Wow. It's got all kinds of little holes in the trunk from little sapsuckers. Such an incredible forest. Then you've got balsam fir here, white pines and red pines, and then massive cedars and oaks. It's crazy. Acorns everywhere. So breakfast this morning is, I have some pre-cooked bacon, which is like a half a package of bacon, and potato pancakes. And this is a recipe of my own design. It's, I'll probably do a video on it one day when I really refine the recipe, but it's basically dehydrated potato flakes, a couple tablespoons of flour, and then spices like salt, pepper, garlic powder, rosemary, and thyme. I add just a bit of water to them, stir it up so that it's like a Play-Doh almost, and then I pan fry them in olive oil till they're crispy on the outside. And actually experimented with it at home last summer before bringing it on the trail, and it quickly became a favorite breakfast item for us. And the potatoes will absorb a lot more water than you think. I'm going to let that sit for a moment. The great thing about the pre-cooked bacon is you just have to heat it up. I did not portion these out very well, so we'll be sharing 2.5 each. There we go. So they probably take, with this kind of small fire, they're probably taking like 5 minutes per side. It's not too bad. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Oh, bacon's keeping warm over here. Oh, yeah. Yummy, yummy. All right. So good. So yummy. Well, I think we're going to eat at breakfast, clean up, maybe go on a bit of an adventure in the woods, look for more firewood for tonight, exercise this dog, and relax, because today is our rest day. So I wanted to talk really briefly about personal hygiene at camp, because it's something that friends and coworkers always ask, is when you go on these trips, like, how do you stay clean? And in the warm weather months, I'll definitely jump in the lake, or at least go to the lakeside and like splash water on my face and wash my face. Sometimes I'll just bring a pot or bucket of water into the campsite, get some soap, and like really wash down, like kind of behind the tent somewhere, and then dispose of the water properly. A trip like this, where we will not be going in the lake because it's October, I bring facial cleansing wipes, unscented facial cleansing wipes. These are fantastic for cleaning your face and your nose and your ears, and you can do your armpits if you want to. I also bring, clearly we brush our teeth every day. I just use plain baking soda. I don't bring minty toothpaste, simply because it's such a high smellable situation. And the other couple semi-luxury items, or I guess items for me, is I bring a nail file, because if you've ever had a jaggedy nail at camp and you rip it off, if that skin, like if that nail gets infected, then you're down a hand or you're down a toenail. So nail file gets used a lot at camp. And lastly for me, I bring a few hair elastics. I've been wearing my hair down just with like a bandana for the last couple of days, but I will probably end up braiding it tonight, so that's what these hair elastics are for. So yeah, that's my very basic hygiene routine for out at camp, especially in the cooler weather months when I can't take a dunk in the lake. Yeah, it makes you feel refreshed. I'd say our other luxury item we bring is just it's an unscented chapstick. Just because in the cooler weather you're licking your lips and they get chapped, so that doesn't weigh very much, and it's quite a nice little luxury item. Not really personal hygiene, I guess, more personal care than anything else. So yeah, that's kind of our hygiene routine, or my hygiene routine when I'm out on the trail. So we found the mother lode of firewood behind the site, out on a little adventure with the dog. All of these branches are about as big around as my forearm, and they're perfect burning size. So we're going to cut a few off, delimb them, and take them back to camp. Well, this is quite a haul. It's a lot of wood. You can see this is what we had left from last night, plus a little bit there that we hadn't processed yet. But some of that's pretty rotty. But it's mostly red pine, but it's dense, it's very dry, it's very dead. It's going to burn hot and fast and keep us warm tonight. This is great. That's our afternoon, I guess. We'll just be processing firewood. It's mid-afternoon, and I'm going to make up some soup. It's just a soup mixture here. And I decided I'm going to use my little twig stove, which we brought in case the weather was really crappy and we needed to put the tarp up and cook under the tarp. It's a lot easier and more effective to cook on the twig stove than to get a big fire started. So a couple notes on the twig stove is, like you saw, I've cleared the area underneath it and around it of debris because I don't want to accidentally start a fire. I strongly recommend that you go around and you get all your materials and have them handy before you start, because it burns very hot very quickly and you don't want to be running off to get more wood. This isn't something that you're going to get this going, put your pot on, and then go do another task. You do need to stay by and keep an eye on it to keep it going, because once it's out, it burns so efficiently, all that's left is ash. So I will go around the campsite and collect all the little debris, the chunks from people splitting wood, the bits that broke off when you were hauling your firewood in, and make a nice big pile beside where I'm working, so it's handy and I have it, I'm good to go. I've got my ingredients, my bowls, my spoons, my pot, everything is handy, and I can start cooking. Except my water. Here we go. The water. There we go. No, bud. No. I don't need your help. Go see Daddy. Go away. Oh, Shoxy. So give that a bit of a stir. So now I'm completely ready that when I get a fire going on my twig stove, I can just put the pot on there and I'm good to go. All my bitty bits here. Right in my face. That's grand. Add a couple of thicker pieces. Let this go. Now this type of twig stove, I can't add wood without removing my pot. Again, it's another reason why I like to just, when this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. I'm not doing other tasks. I'm just here cooking and keeping an eye on it. Ooh, she's hot. I gotta move over a little bit. Now you can see how intense that flame is in there with just a few thick twigs. It's a high heat, that's for sure. Got a nice rolling boil going with my soup. I haven't been going far other than turning the camera on and off. Because like I said, it takes constant kind of moderation. You want to put in the big pieces, but you need itty bitty pieces too. Go. So as you can see, I didn't burn most of the wood that I collected. And if I zoom in here, you can see that the wood burns down to a fine white powdery ash. So it's very, very, very efficient. This wood pile is very satisfying. Just getting dinner started here. It's nothing fancy or different from what we usually make. We're going to have spaghetti tonight. In that water is just water for the spaghetti pasta. This pot over here, I've got the dehydrated can of spaghetti sauce, dehydrated mushrooms, zucchini, and dehydrated onions. A little bit of water, I'm going to bring that up to a simmer to get it all softened up. Here's the final product, our amazing giant pot of spaghetti with pepperoni chunks as meatballs, dehydrated zucchinis, green peppers, mushrooms, and onion. This looks fantastic, and I can't wait to dig in. Here we are, sunset on night 3. This is just beautiful. Wow, what a day. Well, good morning from the tent. It is day 4. I'm just in the process of packing up all of our stuff. Today is a travel day. Today we head to Nunikani Lake, which is really exciting because from what we understand, it's even more beautiful than what we've seen so far. Hubby's out getting a fire going, and the dog's having his breakfast and wandering around. And it looks like it's going to be a bright, sunny day. I'm looking forward to it. What are you doing in there, bud? I often feel like the morning of packing up camp is the messiest. There's just gear everywhere. Stuff is all spread out. Trying to get it all organized, fit it back into its special spots. So this morning for breakfast we're having what we call power oatmeal, which is oatmeal with cranberries and dehydrated banana slices in it. And then we top it with this high-protein chocolate-flavored granola. And it's super, super flavorful and really yummy and is so incredibly filling. Yes! Well, I just burned off all my oatmeal. That was a struggle. But it's done, and I only have to do it one more time, and that's the day we leave. Well, it's getting close to 11:30, and to be honest, we've been lollygagging this morning. I think we're all just a little reluctant to leave this beautiful site. We had breakfast and a coffee, then we packed some things, and then thought, oh, let's have a hot chocolate. So now we're having a hot chocolate. And yeah, this site is just so pretty, and we really like it here. And even though everything we've heard is that our next site on Nunikani is going to be just as beautiful, we really need to probably just get motoring here. But first, I'm going to show you our route today. Okay, so here's our map. So we're currently here on Site 31 on Red Pine Lake. Today we are paddling up here through kind of a bit of a channel. Then this is where it becomes the choose your own adventure part of our trip. Depending on water levels, there's a 30-meter portage around a dam that you can then line or run some gentle rapids through this creek. However, if the water is too low or those rapids are too excited, on the lower side there's a 440-meter portage that gets you around all that. Then we're going to paddle this narrow section to Nunikani Lake and come down here to Site 27, which is where we're going to spend the next 2 nights. So this part here could be interesting. I think we've decided we're going to pull over it for the 30-meter portage and just walk it and have a look and see what we think. And if we think we can safely line it, then that's what we're going to do. If not, I mean, the water levels are really low, so we might not be able to. Then we'll just jog across and we'll just do this 440-meter portage. So that's the plan for today, once we get our butts moving. Well, saying goodbye to Site 31 on Red Pine Lake. One last look around here. There's our beautiful sunset point. The fire is out. We have left a generous amount of firewood for the next campers. Plus, we've got a couple of huge yellow birch logs that someone else had left here. Yeah, it's time to get going. Oh, well, that was a slog. It was interesting. Lots of back and forth and getting out and getting in. I think my poor piggies are frozen. But now we're going to go walk the short portage and see what the other end looks like. We knew it would be rough with the low water, but this could be interesting. Up there is where the signage told us to turn right, and we went through that horrible creek with all the downed trees and the sucky muck. Froze our piggies off. When looking at it, we could have paddled all the way up to here and only had to portage about 20 meters to the other side of this dam. So we just spent 40 minutes probably slogging through that creek. Now I imagine in the spring you'd never want to be here. The current is strong right now. But hey, chalk it up to an adventure, right? So while we do our last little leg of this portage, gotta commiserate a little bit. Like I said, we paddled up and there was a fork in the creek. Left clearly went to the dam. and right went into that creek with all those downed trees and the bog and the sucky muck. And never being here before, and you know, dams are dangerous, there was a sign on the shore that pointed right to the Crappy Creek, as we're calling it now, that said Portage is 200 meters and a right-hand arrow. So we followed it, and that was tricky. But the water's down about 3 feet right now, and I would say if there was another 6 inches to a foot of water, we would have just paddled right up that creek. It wouldn't have been a big deal at all. But of course, you know, you don't know what you don't know till you know it. So now we know. But honestly, you know, it's easy to say, oh, we should have just gone up right up close. But looking at that water, there's a lot of current. And there's always that threat at a dam. You don't want to get dragged under. So I'm happy we went with the safer route, even if it was frustrating. And this Portage Trail has been just beautiful. It's super flat. There's no rocks. There's no trip hazards. Yeah, it's been really nice. So, yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's all part of the adventure. So this is the next Choose Your Own Adventure part of our Portage trip here. You can go across the dam, and the Portage Trail continues on another 440 meters. Or you can put in here and float your boat down that little section and paddle that very gentle current out into the creek, into the top of Nunikani, which is exactly what we're going to do. What do you think, Shoxy? You ran your first rapids. Now we're going to do the next one all together. So we've reached our next obstacle here. The end is more rapids than we're comfortable doing. But you can see the clear, like the flat water, the end is down there. So what we're going to do is, there's a spot right here that is a perfect landing and looks like you can join up with the Portage Trail. So we're going to do that and portage the rest of this. I'm happy with my choice. I'm glad I didn't try to line that or run it. But look at this. Just stunning, like, just beautiful. And we're really lucking out. So many of our portage put-ins and put-outs have just been perfect like this. Alright, time to go back and get the rest of our gear. So we are on campsite 27 on Nunikani Lake, and we're a little underwhelmed, I guess. You can see the put-in is really steep and awkward, and then there's this huge tree. We actually ended up paddling past the site to another spot to get the dog out because we didn't think we could get him out there. And we're way up about 30 feet off the water on this cliff. It's not a huge site. It does have a beautiful view across the way here. Crazy steep cliff, so we're keeping the dog tied up just to be on the safe side here. Let me pan around. A nice little pile of wood that the previous campers left. This little front part here, not the small stuff, but this pile here they left behind, which is fantastic. We've collected a few parts already, and then if I pan around, here's the tent, and that's the whole site. It's very small. We got here about 5 after 3. There was no sunshine. It's after 5 p.m. now, and there is some sunshine. And behind us is the steepest cliff. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, tent there, campfire pit right here, and edge of the world right there. It's 6 o'clock, and I'm pretty gassed. Today was a challenging day with some unforeseen obstacles. I mean, we had a good time. It was an adventure. Then, we got to this site, and the site was very disappointing, and it's been really rough, I have to say. The last hour and a half trying to find firewood. We have to climb almost like a 45-degree angle cliff and go along these creepy little ledges to find any wood. We've actually followed like a game trail along the shore and just harvested a bunch of driftwood, which we're not even really sure how well it's going to burn. But I just saw a fish jump. It's the first sign of fish I've seen this entire trip. So I thought I can't come all this way and not throw in a few casts. So I'm going to cast a couple times, relax for a few minutes. The sun is just about to drop below the horizon. Oh, it just went below the tree line there. I can hear all kinds of owls across the lake calling to each other. I love the sound of owls at night. It's starting to get dark. I'm not really sure how well you can see me. But I wanted to go over quickly what we're having for dinner tonight. It's another experiment. We're doing gnocchi. This is pre-packaged from the grocery store, no refrigeration required gnocchi. And we're doing dehydrated chicken, a whole bunch of vegetables. I've got onion flakes, mushrooms, zucchini in here. And then we have a pesto sauce in a tube. So I'm going to cook the gnocchi in one pot. I'm going to rehydrate the vegetables and the chicken in another pot. Strain the gnocchi, pour it all together, add the pesto, some olive oil, stir it up, and hope it's delicious. We also have a little bit of Parmesan cheese left over from our spaghetti last night to sprinkle on top. So it sounds really yummy, and I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, so in my pot I've got my dehydrated veggies and a little bit of water. I'm going to add my chicken without spilling it, hopefully. And we've definitely figured out that you want to let the dehydrated chicken and veggies kind of simmer in a small amount of water for 5 to 10 minutes. That brings them up to like perfect rehydration. Alrighty, we'll give that some time. Here's our veggies. They're rehydrating nicely along with the dehydrated chicken. A little bit of water still in there, but we're going to keep that cruising while the gnocchi cooks. So gnocchi only takes about 5 or 6 minutes once it comes back up to a boil. So I'm going to put the lid back on that and let this all cruise. Alright, we are definitely cooked here. So I'm going to take the gnocchi off and strain it right into the fire pit. Carefully, carefully, carefully. Without losing any. Alright, this is the tricky part. Side. Oh, little potato dumplings. So now I have to reach past the camera and get my meat and veggies, which smell amazing on their own. Pour all of that in there. Okay. Oh my goodness, this looks amazing. And I've never used this pesto before. Like I said, whole meal is a bit of an experiment. It did recommend just using a couple of tablespoons, so we'll just, whoa. Alright, we'll try that. And a splash of olive oil. And don't tip over. Oh, it already smells just wonderful. Okay. This is done, folks. This looks fantastic. We're going to dish up and eat, and I'll let you know what I think afterwards. Alright, so I'm just eating my last couple bites of my pesto gnocchi with chicken and dehydrated vegetables, and the reviews are in, and it's a huge win. It is so flavorful and so good. We will definitely be bringing this again on a trip, and it was really, really easy to make. Now, I did do it in 2 pots tonight, but you could probably do it in 1 pot if you just cold soaked your veggies and chicken in like a water bottle or a bowl for like maybe an hour or so before. But yeah, the 2 pots worked out brilliantly, and that was so yummy, and it was so filling. So we're going to just enjoy this beautiful fire. I'll pan around so you can see it here. Look at that. And this campsite, we actually have a clear view of the sky, so we're going to see the stars, and it's going to be a lovely evening. If anything interesting happens, I'll share it with you, but otherwise, good night, everybody. Oh my gosh, so I just remembered that my new camera has night vision. It's black and white, but it's pretty cool. Oh my gosh. Too much fun. Wow, this night vision is just too much fun.